I thought moving to a lakefront cabin would bring peace, a chance to escape the chaos of city life and HOA rules that dictate everything from fence heights to flower pot colors. At 55, I was ready for a simpler life, surrounded by pine trees and the glassy waters of Crystal Lake. But 3 days after settling in, a woman named Linda Harper shattered that dream, storming across my lawn with a stack of fake HOA bylaws, demanding I obey rules that didn't exist. What started as a neighborly dispute spiraled into a chilling battle against a criminal mastermind, exposing a web of fraud, corruption, and violence that would change my life forever. My name is James Turner, a retired architect who spent decades designing homes under the thumb of rigid homeowner associations. When I inherited my grandfather's cabin, a rugged, hand-built retreat from 1962, I saw it as my sanctuary. The listing promised no HOA, no restrictions, just freedom. But Linda, a sharp-eyed woman in her late 50s with a haircut as precise as her accusations, had other plans. On my third morning, I found a notice taped to my window. Unapproved exterior paint color. Before I could process it, Linda marched over, finger-wagging, and declared, "Everyone here follows the HOA, Mr. Turner." There was no HOA. I checked the county records. Yet she stood there, clutching a folder of official-looking documents, insisting I comply or face consequences. The audacity floored me. I tried reasoning with her. "Ma'am, there's no HOA here. I've seen the records." She froze, a box of my dishes in her hands, then set it down with a smile that sent chills down my spine. "You're mistaken, James," she said, her voice smooth but menacing. "This lakefront community operates under the Crystal Shores Alliance, established last year. Sign these guidelines, or you'll regret it." Her folder was thick with papers, embossed seals, signatures, and a business card for the Crystal Shores Alliance. As an architect, I spotted flaws immediately: inconsistent margins, amateur fonts. But the seals looked real, and her confidence unnerved me. I called 911, reporting her for trespassing and property damage. 2 deputies arrived: Officer Bennett, a gruff veteran, and Officer Hayes, a rookie eager to prove himself. I expected them to haul Linda away, but she spun a tale about her lawful organization, producing a court order with a red seal. I grabbed my laptop and showed the deputies county records proving the original HOA, Lakeview Commons, dissolved in 2019 after a financial scandal. No new HOA existed. Linda's composure cracked, but the deputies called it a civil dispute, advising us to settle it legally. As they left, Linda whispered, "This isn't over, James." Her calm was more terrifying than her earlier rage. Determined to uncover the truth, I knocked on neighbors' doors. Mrs. Clara Evans, a 74-year-old gardener, admitted signing Linda's survey about trash services, thinking it was harmless. Tom Bradley, a construction worker, signed a security petition after Linda warned of break-ins. The Wilsons, a young family, thought they were supporting road repairs. Each story was different, tailored to exploit specific fears, but the fine print was identical. I agreed to join a resident self-governance organization. Linda had conned 23 of 31 households, building a fake empire through manipulation. I contacted Susan Mitchell, a real estate attorney known for dismantling property scams. She confirmed Linda's operation was illegal, requiring 75% resident approval and state registration, none of which existed. Susan warned that fake HOAs often precede larger schemes to force property sales at low prices. My suspicions deepened when a cease and desist letter arrived from Edward Harper, Esquire, Linda's son, whose law office was her home address. Public records revealed Edward's law license was suspended for malpractice, making his threats toothless but alarming. The harassment escalated. Glossy flyers announced the Crystal Shores Alliance, a supposed nonprofit to preserve property values. A community center event, complete with banners and a news crew, drew dozens of residents. Violation notices flooded my mailbox. My porch paint's hex code was non-compliant. My lighting was too warm, my American flag too large. Each carried escalating fines, starting at $150 and doubling weekly. Then I caught Harold Grayson, a friendly 67-year-old neighbor, on my hidden cameras, measuring my grass at midnight and sabotaging my deck railing. He even dumped dead fish near my air conditioner, making my home reek. This wasn't a prank, it was a calculated attack to drive me out. Susan's investigation revealed Linda's true identity, Margaret Voss, a career criminal who displaced 47 families across 3 states, earning over $500,000 by forcing cheap property sales. Her partner, Premier Property Solutions, targeted valuable homes, created crises to tank values, and bought them at a discount. My cousin, David Liu, was one of her victims. 3 years ago, in Colorado, Margaret's fake HOA drove him to suicide after fraudulent foreclosure threats. The grief hit me like a freight train. This wasn't just about my cabin, Anna Maria, it was about justice for David. The stakes skyrocketed when my garage went up in flames at 2:34 a.m., Molotov cocktails shattering the windows. My grandfather's hidden tunnels saved my life, leading me to safety as motorcycle engines roared away. My cameras caught the arsonist's truck, license plate clear as day. Police arrested Carl Weaver, a landscaper with gambling debts, who confessed Margaret paid him $5,000 to burn my house down, claiming I threatened her family. His testimony linked her to attempted murder, and a search of her home uncovered gasoline receipts, my daily schedule, and ties to Premier Property Solutions. A former employee, Rachel Coleman, handed me a digital archive of Margaret's operation, emails, financials, and psychological profiles targeting residents' weaknesses. My file exploited my grief over David's death. The archive also revealed Margaret's bribes to local officials and plans to seize entire neighborhoods through fake crises. The IRS confirmed her nonprofit was unregistered, and her bank account held $8,000 in illegal fees from terrified neighbors. I uploaded a YouTube video. Woman claims my house belongs to her fake HOA, showing Margaret's harassment. It exploded to 350,000 views in 24 hours, with comments from victims nationwide. A second video, exposing Harold's sabotage, hit 1.2 million views, sparking the hashtag #FakeHOAScam. Neighbors like Emily Foster, a single mom threatened with CPS, and veteran Jack Larson, harassed over his flag, shared their stories. The Miller couple, elderly cancer patients, nearly lost their home to fake foreclosures. Our community united, forming a 127-member Facebook group to fight back. Margaret retaliated with a $2 million lawsuit, claiming defamation and cyberbullying, using details of my finances and David's death to paint me as unstable. But Rachel's archive and Carl's confession gave the FBI what they needed. Agent Laura Bennett led a multi-state sting, and a grand jury indicted Margaret, Edward, and Premier Property Solutions for racketeering, fraud, and conspiracy to commit murder. The trial was brutal. Margaret's testimony, dismissing David's suicide as weakness, enraged the jury. She got 18 years, Carl 6, and Edward 5 for his fake legal threats. The aftermath brought justice. Victims split $2.3 million in damages, letting Emily focus on her kids, and the Millers adapt their home for health needs. Senator William Tate resigned after ties to Margaret's bribes surfaced, prompting stronger property laws. My videos and Monica Rivera's documentary fueled a national conversation, leading to the Property Owner Protection Act and an FBI task force on community fraud. A year later, I hosted the Crystal Lake Freedom Festival, drawing 200 attendees, including victims and lawmakers. Emily's kids played on the beach, Jack flew his flag proudly, and the Millers thrived in their renovated home. At David's grave, I left his obituary and Margaret's conviction notice, whispering, "We got her, David. No one else will suffer like you did." My cabin now houses a nonprofit helping fraud victims, and our property values soared 40% as our story inspired others. This fight taught me that ordinary people can defeat predators when we stand together. Margaret Voss thought she could bully us into submission, but truth and courage prevailed. What do you think about this story? Have you faced injustice or violence in your community? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your stance on fighting back against those who exploit others for profit. Let's keep this conversation alive and protect our rights together.